The Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association presents Freshman Focus, a look at 2-year-olds in training across the Buckeye State. Freshman Focus is presented by Eldorado Scioto Downs, now racing Tuesday through Saturday, post time 5:45. By Sugar Valley Farm. Looking for your next quality standard-bred racehorse? Look no further than Sugar Valley Farm in Delaware, Ohio. By Prolific Equine, managing stallions and mares to create champions. By the Ohio State Veterinary Medical Center, caring down to a science. And by Wire-to-Wire Wealth, strategies tailored to your needs.
Welcome to our final edition of 2025 Freshman Focus. We've made our way to Scioto Downs for today's broadcast to talk with Director of Racing Jason Roth about the happenings here at Scioto, plus the next generation coming up this weekend. After this message, we'll sit down and talk with Jason Roth.
At Ohio State's Galbraith Equine Center, our veterinary champions are here for your champions 24/7, 365 days a year, providing advanced specialty care for sports horses from all stages and disciplines. Our expert team of boarded surgeons and sports medicine and rehabilitation specialists, together with veterinary cardiologists, internal medicine, and ophthalmologists, make our hospital your best resource for all sports horse performance issues. The Ohio State Veterinary Medical Center's Galbraith Equine Hospital. Call us today at 614-292-6661. Racing is back at Eldorado Scioto Downs. Catch the excitement all summer long. Live racing every Tuesday through Saturday nights. First race post time is 5:45. Mark your calendar to see the future stars with the $150,000 Next Generation on July 5th. Thrilling harness racing at Eldorado Scioto Downs. Horse players can earn points with the Caesars Reward Program. Eldorado Scioto Downs. Live racing is back.
Welcome back to Freshman Focus, and as we've done each year, sit down right before the next generation and talk with Director of Racing here at Scioto, Jason Roth. Next generation started with a suggestion by a horseman?
Yeah, way back 2019-20. It was 2019. They came to us and thought it was a great idea, and the first, probably the first lifetime start that they're going to go for real money, come up with this plan, and it's worked out so far.
And the big star of that year was Charlie May, and he's got over $2 million in earnings and still racing.
We have seen some great horses, make their first start in this race and go on to future and do great things. And you got Charlie May, My Red Sea, Sea Silk, Swingtown last year, and Jurassic Hattie. She came into the race, not being eligible to the Sire Stakes, not being eligible, only being eligible to the Buckeye Stallion Series and the fairs, and that's what kind of makes this race great, is you don't know who you're gonna face or who the best is, and it's what makes it interesting.
Now, you have tweaked the conditions from the get-go. It seems like every year when I've talked to you, something's changed. How did that progress?
Well, the first few years, it was just a flat fee, one deadline of $10,000. And since then, we have changed it to making a first payment in April for $8,000. May, if the race wasn't full in April, they can then make a payment in May for $10,000, and then make a payment in June if the race was still not full for $12,000. It gives horsemen the opportunity to, if they think they have a good one early and want to stake to it, get in a little cheaper. And then for those guys that may have a 2-year-old that pops up late, and they're going to have to pay a little bit more to get into it. The tweaks, I feel were needed, and I think there will probably be some more tweaks going forward. I was always under the impression if I couldn't fill this race with 9 different entries out of a stable or interest that we were gonna, cancel a race, and that actually happened this year. We are not gonna go with the 2-year-old filly pace. There was only 6 horses that nominated. We pushed for it. We tried to fill it. We made phone calls. We couldn't get there, so. We'll make some tweaks for next year and moving forward and see if it makes it better or makes it worse, and that's a good thing. You can always revert back if it doesn't work.
Now, we're videoing this Freshman Focus on Tuesday, July the 1st, and tonight you'll have the draw for post positions. We have 9 in all the races that will be contested?
The 2-year-old colt pace will have 9, and then the 2-year-old colt trot and 2-year-old filly trot will each fill with 8 entries. So it's just kind of how the chips fell this year. Need 8 people to buy slots to make it fill, and luckily we have accomplished that with the other 2.
Over the years, people have even sold their slot.
There was some trading and selling up to 30 minutes ago. It's 11 o'clock now, and 10:30 I got an email that slot has been traded. So there's still some wheeling dealing going on right up until the box closes.
And actually, for a person that gets in early and they get to the point, usually they don't have any trouble selling their spot.
No, there was, you just got to find the right person that wants to take a shot, right? And luckily, I think everybody that wanted to be in the race this year got in. Those guys that bought early took a chance, and luckily they were able to get rid of their spots.
And post time, what night is it going to be this week?
It'll be Saturday, July 5th, 5:45 post time. Looking forward to being on Fox again this year, sharing the airspace with the Meadowlands and the Meadowlands Pace Eliminations, and it should be a great night of racing.
And to showcase Scioto Downs.
Yeah, great. That's what we're trying to do, is always make it bigger and better, right?
Now, over the years, something else has changed here at Scioto Downs since Caesars took over. They've invested a lot of money in the facility with, it seems like, something new each and every year. This year, of course, it's the new paddock.
Yeah, I can't say enough good things about Caesars and the support they have given Eldorado Scioto Downs, and the paddock, the grandstand, and we refurbished the outside of the clubhouse, and looking forward to 2026. Hopefully, we're looking for more capital improvements and bring this place back to the show place of racing. 16
races. It can be in the paddock. You don't need a barn area to ship in. They go right to their paddock stall and such. Are there any other tracks that have a 16-race paddock?
I know there's some big paddocks out there, but this might be the biggest. I don't know. I can't say for sure. But when we were designing and trying to build this thing, the main thing was for the horse's comfort, right? And a few weeks ago, last week, it got pretty hot. And the one thing that we mentioned was we wanted to make sure the paddock stayed at a reasonable temperature. And knock on wood, I walked in there. You walk outside and it was brutal. You walk in the paddock and we have the big fans on and the exhaust fans, and it did not feel that bad in here. And that's what we were going for, is to make sure the horses were comfortable when they walked in this paddock.
To say the least, it's a state of the art.
It's pretty nice. I've been in a few other paddocks, and it's definitely an upgrade from where we came from.
Now, looking ahead, did the new paddock give you a lot of incentive to apply for the Breeders' Crown in 2026?
It didn't hurt, right? It didn't hurt. And, has definitely made life easier on staff, cleaning, and instead of cleaning 160 stalls today, we spray them out, try and sanitize them daily and make sure they're clean. Not saying that everything has worked perfect. We're going to have to make some adjustments next year, but always improving.
You've added bath stalls so nobody has to wait or anything like that. A bath stall for drivers to wash their silks during the racing program?
Well, nobody wants to be muddy, right? No, we did add right outside the locker room a place for the drivers to spray themselves off before they walk. I more look at it as before they walk into the locker room, but we did add that so they could spray themselves off, and so no, we tried to think of everything.
Are any of them taking advantage of it?
I see some guys standing out there spraying, they spray their colors off after they get done. So, yeah.
Racing this year, as far as I'm concerned, has been phenomenal. It's amazing. 5, 6, 7 horses all within 2 or 3 lengths at the racetrack. But the one thing that got me was the other night on Saturday. We had 14 races, I believe. All overnight races, and the average time of those 14 races was 1:50 3/5, and to me that's unheard of for an all overnight program.
Yeah, you hear the rumors, the track's short, and I can rest assured you that we did not go out there and drill 72 new holes for pylons, right? In May, it was probably one of the coolest Mays that I've been a part of when we started racing here, and it rained a lot in May. You would come in afternoon, the track would still have the moisture in it, and it's carried over. And shout out to our track crew. They are here at 10 o'clock in the morning getting the track ready for evening racing. They put hours into this track and grading it and working it and watering it, and they work their butts off to make it. So we do get those fast miles. On the end of that, it doesn't help the entry box. People are tired of going those fast miles. So you take the good with the bad. You get some fast miles, but people are tired of the fast miles too.
On that particular program, Rose Run Zane track record, 4-year-old geldings, 148-1. But the most impressive race of the night to me was the 2-year-old pace you had. Field of 6. I'll bet your boots.
Yeah.
Final quarter, 26-3. Fastest, I believe, on a 5/8 mile track this year, 52-3.
Yeah, Judy Rogner's horse. I think he went off 10-1 or something like that, and he was very impressive. Yeah. I actually said something to Jeremy Smith in the winner's circle. I said, it looks like you got your sire stake mount now, and he was definitely very impressive. Definitely looking forward to watching him race this year. I was actually hoping that she may have gotten a spot in the next generation, but it'll be fun watching him race this summer.
Yeah, that last quarter and the fractions early on were really good too.
Yeah. I definitely wasn't expecting that. You watch these 2-year-olds, their first, non-winners of ones. Drivers try and take care of them and race them. They're not 20 claimers. They'll get to the half, 57, 58, and have them sprint home a little bit. But I was definitely not expecting that from him.
Yeah. And it didn't look like he was really getting after him very much.
No, he definitely a nice looking colt. And, that's the great thing about Ohio, all these new stallions coming in, summa cum laude, it's going to be exciting to see what his offsprings do this year.
Any future plans for renovation at Scioto Downs?
I'm hoping we can get some, LED lights, not something that the general public's going to see or even notice, but LED lights, maybe a big LED screen out in the middle of the infield, and then inside the clubhouse, working on that, and new countertops, carpet, lighting, ceiling, So not stuff that's going to stick out like a new paddock or a new grandstand, but yeah, we definitely have some plans going forward.
The shocking figure to a lot of people, and I think you'll be able to come up with, is the investment that Caesars has made over the years. It's millions.
Yeah, you know, you're looking close to between 40 and 50 million so far, and you know, it keeps on growing, and now it's our job to put on a good show and put on good races and get people interested in Scioto Downs again.
Jason Roth, you're doing what you probably dreamed about all your life.
Yeah, you know, I grew up in this business. I always wanted to be a trainer. My parents had other plans for me to go to school. I went to school and kind of took a different path, but working here for my entire career since I got out of college has been great. Yeah, can't say any bad thing about it.
Families involved in racing as well.
Yeah, my kids love it. They love coming to the track. They know all the drivers. They know all the trainers. They live and die Scioto Downs, and it's definitely a family aspect here.
And that's important at racetracks. A lot of the racetracks have got away from the family atmosphere, but you actually have family events at night.
Yeah, you know, we had the wiener dog races, and we've already said, you know, we need to do this for next year, that for next year, you know, and you know, one of the misconceptions I think is people come out for the wiener dog races, then the crowd leaves, right? We had them through race 4, but they actually stuck around through like race 10. And they were into the races. If you talk to the drivers, they could probably hear the crowd coming down the stretch. So it was fun. And, you know, back to, you know, thinking of stuff that we can do better. We already have it written down and trying to make it a little bit better next year.
That's one thing that a lot of people got to understand when you have these events that really have nothing to do with the racing, but you're drawing newcomers to the racetrack, and with the hope of getting a certain percentage to return.
That's one thing we wrote down, right? Is we probably could do a better job at getting them back to the track. So what do we have to give them to get them back to the track? And you know, that's what we will try next year, and hopefully, you know, get these people back to the track and have a fun night out to the races. Come sit on the patio and, you know, listen to the band, or, you know, get a bucket of beer or get a hot dog or enjoy the races.
A lot of stakes this year, the regular major stakes that you have, but you've brought the Jug Preview back.
Yeah, that's an interesting story how that panned out. So Brittany Farms dispersing their artwork and everything, and Joe Morris, the senior VP of racing, got his hands on an old Jug Preview trophy. This was in October last year, and I was actually on vacation, and he came up to Scioto Downs and he dropped it in my office. Then when I got back, he said, he called me and said, "Why don't we have the Jug Preview anymore?" I said, "Well, we can. We got rid of it because the lack of interest. I think the last time we had it, we had 6 3-year-old colt pacers. I think part of the lack of interest was, you know, we put up 125,000, then it went division, so then it would split. And this year, you know, we'll do the top money earners in 2025 go for a purse of 225,000. The kicker to that is Eldorado Scioto Downs is going to pay the entry fee into the Jug for the winner.
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, so makes it a little bit more interesting, and you know, shooting for your entry fee into the Jug, which is 7,000. So
you got to promote that, because you might get some horses that want to race in the Jug, and
Yeah,
if you're going to put up the money for them to get in it, that's a big incentive.
You know, and it's a Jug Preview, and I hope every horse that comes to the Jug Preview, you know, maybe stays in Central Ohio for the week and goes to the Jug afterwards. So
I think I could talk to you all day, but you got a busy schedule today, and I got a busy schedule as well. So we're going to kind of wrap this up. But we wish you luck for the rest of the season. I hope the Jug Preview works out for you and everything like that. 2026, the Breeders' Crown. it's going to be a great night at Scioto. So thanks for spending some time with us today.
Thanks for stopping by, Roger.
Okay. After this message, we'll return and have a closing to 2025 Freshman Focus.
With over 30 years of experience in wealth planning and a lifetime of involvement in harness racing, Matt Franklin at Wire to Wire Wealth can help you build a financial plan that addresses the unique circumstances of those involved in the horse racing industry. Whether you are investing to build wealth, protect your family, or preserve your assets, Matt at Wire to Wire Wealth will work with you through the wealth planning process from start to finish.
Captain Kirk is standing his second year in 2025 here in the state of Ohio, and he's attracting some of the best brood mares in the entire industry. You want to breed to a stallion that can step your mare up. And if you're breeding to sell those foals, you have to breed to the stallion that the biggest bidders will pay a premium to acquire. Captain Kirk stands at Winterwood Farm, and his introductory stud fee of only $3,000 ends after the 2025 season. So book your mare today. Write down this website. Go to CaptainKirkInfo.com to get all the details right now.
Well, that wraps up Freshman Focus for 2025. We'd like to thank all of the trainers who participated in this year's broadcast, along with Jason Roth here at Scioto Downs. And we hope that you'll join us again next year for the 2026 edition of Freshman Focus.
This has been Freshman Focus, a look at 2-year-olds in training across the Buckeye State. Freshman Focus is presented by Eldorado Scioto Downs. Racing begins May 8th with the next generation July 5th. By Sugar Valley Farm. Looking for your next quality standardbred racehorse? Look no further than Sugar Valley Farm in Delaware, Ohio. By Prolific Equine, managing stallions and mares to create champions. By the Ohio State Veterinary Medical Center, caring down to a science. And by Wire to Wire Wealth, strategies tailored to your needs. Freshman Focus is a production of the Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association.